But I'm
Oh,
not
okay,
allowed to
cool.
intro this.
Really? You're not allowed anymore at all? Okay. Welcome everybody to I Don't Wanna Wait.
I don't want to wait.
This I'm Handren Seavey.
And
That
I'm
is
Kim McVicar, and we did it. We did it. We got to the season finale.
season 1, episode 13. Uh Real heavy right off the bat. It is a finale. And they talk about TV show finales. Once again starts Joey and Dawson in their
Foreshadow.
room.
And it always is, hey, these are the things that are going to happen in our episode. They pretty much always lay out the groundwork.
I feel like this one though was even more like just feeding it to you right off. They're like, I think they were like, "Hey, you've all been wondering it, and yes, by the end of this, we will have made a decision about Dawson and Joey. So, thank you. We want you to come back next season, but we are going to reward you with this episode."
Right. And I feel like I'm just sure. Oh, yeah. So the beauty contest was last week. So it
Yeah,
ended with, them having that moment.
Dawson, he all of a sudden he realized, man, hey, I think Joey, one, might like me, and two, might be pretty hot.
Yeah, and then she sneaks in his room in this episode and is like, "Let's watch a movie." And he's like, "What? That's not what we did." He just didn't assume that she thought, because he tried to hit on her and she was like, "No,
Yeah,
you think I'm pretty when I'm not pretty."
yeah, but I wonder if she did. She had some sort of realization too. I
Maybe.
feel like, and that maybe off screen or something, but like, I at least maybe the character, you could explain that of like she was kind of like, what was I thinking? I was into him this whole time. He's into me now. Why am I, getting mad at that just because it took him to have to fucking get a hard on to realize that he might like me?
Or she was just playing hard to get. Like a lot of women do that, where they're like, "Oh, now you like me?" No. And it's just a natural female instinct to do that right away.
Why
And then
is that?
afterwards you're like, "Oh, I should have totally slept with that guy." Why is that? Ooh, great question.
Yeah.
I do it a lot. It's just it's probably like a mechanism of like, you can't hurt me. Like, because
You
she
think
loves
that's what it is?
yeah, because she loves him so much. And then he's like, I love you too. Not using those words, but I think you're pretty now. And it's like, wait, no, 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 no. And also, she's used to spending her whole life trying to chase him. And now it's flipping. So it's like, oh, I don't know this world. This is a new world. And she's had a terrible childhood. So she's got to be like a very aggressive.
Yeah. In this one, we get into Joey's childhood and we meet some
So
new members of the family. Yeah, I've not lost, but lost the interest of many girls, especially in high school, um, who would kind of like me, but it was because they didn't know me at all. And then,
and then they got to know you and they're like, no.
well, not
That's
even
the you
that, but
problem, Handren, not the girl's fault.
it was, they were like, it would be like some cute or popular girl would be like, "Oh, maybe like I'll go for this guy." And then I had never noticed them before.
Mhm.
And then once they like were like, "Hey, what's up?" I became interested, and then they would be like, never mind. Now that you're interested, oh, never
Well,
mind."
and that's also a part of it as a female. It's the chase. And then it's done. And then it's like, all right, I'm done with that. It just depends on the woman. Like, I definitely in high school would look at guys that people would be like, I'd never expect you to date him. And I just enjoyed that thing of like, yeah, I'll date the kid that no one thinks is dateable. Like, it was like a weird. I was one of those girls who liked to date the guy who wasn't the hottest or the most popular.
I did that a lot in high school of finding the cute girl that had no friends. No,
And molding her into the way that I wanted her to be.
no, it wouldn't be
Her in
no
my
friends, but it would
closet
just be
like
like
Dawson does. That's basically
I
what
would.
Dawson did.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, it was very much this is the drawn out story of she's all that.
Yeah.
Joey is just like this, yeah, nerdy, kid who nobody, and then all of a sudden she puts on a dress and everybody's like, she might be hot.
Huh. But she did so many episodes in bathing suits. That's what just
I
got
know.
me. It's like maybe Dawson only likes girls with their hair up. That's what I learned from this. Who are shit
Possibly,
singers.
possibly he might be gay in that way. I really do get a gay vibe from Dawson the whole time. That's what should have come out at the end of this entire fucking series is that this is Dawson's way to find his way to homosexuality.
I mean, maybe he will date that other gay character.
Jackie boy. But yeah, so they have the awkward moment and they're like, will they, won't they? And then they just kind of sit down and sit in it.
And then Gramps wakes up. Cut two.
Yeah. Gramps wakes up. But so this is what I thought this happened in the last episode, I think, but this is the one where they fill in the entire fucking timeline, exactly how long it's been in the show time.
Mhm.
And when everybody got here, and she just pretty much is just like, I don't know, apparently hasn't talked to her husband in
Parent?
a coma in 3 months and is now just comes in every 3 months and fills him in on what's going on.
Oh, yeah, when she was talking to him in the beginning. But also,
Yeah.
like, how long do you think that actor practices one line? He's been on a show for a season and he's been taking a nap. Not a bad gig.
Yeah. I would love if he didn't know. He like fucked it up the first time and they're like, you missed your line. He's like, line? What are you talking about?
There's a blooper outtake where he keeps being like, thank you, or have a great day, Donna. Like,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Fuck. Yeah, I've been actually asleep in all of these scenes.
I'm a real dead body.
But yeah, so she fills in, and then the Jennifer's light wakes up her grandfather, and Jennifer.
Ooh, good impression.
Thank you. And that's that's all we'll ever hear from Gramps.
Well, that's a normal thing. Spoiler alert, he dies. Most people before they die have that one big moment where they're very clear and then they die the next day. That's a typical thing.
Very much so.
Trust me, I know. I've watched
every life
die.
I have squeezed out. I see them getting real, but no.
I'm afraid now, everybody.
This is why we're going to continue doing this from Zoom because
he's not allowed in my house.
I just think lately I've had so much fun joking on stage with people that about actual murders. Being like, no, I murdered that person.
That is fun. I do fun. I like toying the line in stand-up a lot. Okay. Next. Wait, first of all, are there fire trucks behind you? Is someone getting killed
they're
right
going
now?
by out there. I don't know.
Someone get murdered right now? Is this a live
Possibly.
murder? Whoa.
Possibly. It's on Sepulveda. It's not a great street.
Everyone now knows how to find you.
It's a long street. You don't know where I could be. It goes all the way into the fucking valley.
Okay. But if they take the time to do a knock on every door, maybe they'll get there.
I'll be dead by then. By the time they get to here.
Unless they start right at your house magically. That'd be cool. Okay, Joey gets the opportunity to go to France.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Didn't even know she was taking French.
No, she's not. She even says in it, I don't know French.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, she doesn't.
And also, this was another thing that I thought was in the last episode was Pacey's getting what's it called? Shamed by his brother. Just a quick scene of Pacey getting shamed by his brother.
Hey, this character's still here. They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, this character's still here. Yeah.
But also, like, they only needed to show that to you to like set up that. Remember, Pacey's the black sheep. Like, we haven't talked about it in a couple episodes, but remember that how that's a thing.
Yeah, of course. And Joey should have gone to Paris.
Totally. Yeah, they're sophomores. It would have been half a year. I'll be back. Like, that was a dumb move. She's poor. She'll never get that opportunity again.
Also, she starts it with saying, I got it because this girl won't leave her boyfriend. Like, basically the tone of her voice is like, can't believe someone would give this up for a boy.
Yeah.
She does.
And yeah, that's kind of fucking hand feeding you that too. Like, they could have made any reason and they made it the exact same reason she's not going to go.
That's how I feel about that. Go to Paris. I wish I had a Paris version of that. Like a French wah, 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 wah.
A fucking accordion.
That's my cigarette.
Is there merely a cigarette?
You say French?
Have you ever been to France?
I've been to Paris. Yeah, I've been to the Eiffel Tower.
Me as well. I've been to France and then to Paris and then the Alps. Great time. Joey should have gone. She would have had a blast.
Yeah, I went to Barcelona and got bored there, so I hopped a plane in Paris and got married to my husband there in front of the
Well,
Eiffel Tower with a YouTube star. So random. I
that's
get
so
married every
gay.
year. That's a real thing. I get married every year and we do it in a weird way. And we never really know how we're going to do it until like the day before. So it's kind
Interesting.
of like a last minute, like, are you available? But yeah, Paris was one. We were in Barcelona and then we noticed there was a good soccer game in Paris. So we jumped.
Uh, so had you gone to Europe knowing where this is like our anniversary, so we'll get married again over there somewhere?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
So we typically travel around the same week of our marriage every year. And then marriage is
You're
forever.
like migrating birds, I feel like.
Well,
And then you like come together once a year and they're like, oh yes, the mating rituals.
yeah, except for we don't sleep together. I'm kidding. I
It's
just
purely a marriage of convenience and green cards.
I had my green card before I met him, and I've continued. I never got my citizenship yet. Knock on. I never tried. I should try one day. You never know.
I mean, right now it's a fucking toss up between if you want to be here or Canada.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
feel like you got to find a husband somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, and we can. I can. There's lots of people in the world. No, he's a great guy. um.
Speaking of great guys, Joey's dad, we find out it's his birthday.
Yep. And he is in prison for trafficking weed.
Yeah, that was couldn't even be a cool drug like cocaine or heroin or something. The dude got caught for weed.
Do you think they did that on purpose to be like, it's kind of like a drug where everyone will be okay with it?
That and or the network was like heroin is you can't say heroin or something.
Yeah, but he could have done so many things. He could have stolen, or I don't know.
Mm.
It didn't.
Robbed a bank or something. But
Yeah.
I think that they also want to make it because he eventually does get out.
Mhm.
And so it does have to be like minor enough where you'd go to jail for it. It is trafficking
They said
drugs.
prison though. They didn't say jail. Prison. He was in prison.
Well, yeah, you get like a multi-year sentence, but it'll be, white guy in New England, just weed, not harder drugs. He's got like 3, 4 years, something like that.
I feel like all of the prison scenes in this episode made me feel like you with the geography, like how passionate you are about like the logistics. I've been to prison. My brother was in prison, and I there's no way Dawson would be allowed to go in just like that. You have to fill out a form saying that you've known the person for over 5 years. It takes time. You can't just. You have to have like I'm sure he would be able to go eventually, but he would have
Yeah.
had to fill out paperwork months in advance just to go visit him.
And you can't just, I mean, for her too, she couldn't just come any day, right? She'd have to request a visit prior to that.
No, you can go. There's specific days of like days and times. Different prisons are different. Some are every day, depending on how big
Yeah.
the prison is. But it's like a time block. And you would know the fucking time. You wouldn't be like, what? You close at 5. You would know.
No, that's what I mean. Would she like have to, even though she could go any day, she would have to like, she could just show up and go?
Yeah, as long as that
Okay.
paperwork is done with the federal government. So you have
Yeah.
to fill a form, and then when you go, it's very much like going to the airport where you empty out your pockets. They do,
Yeah.
especially for females, they're really adamant about your outfits. Like I would go visit my brother, and I had like a striped prison dress that I wore one time just to be a dick, and they made me go and put on pants because they were like, girls can't wear dresses here. There's a lot of guys who haven't seen a woman.
Mm.
So you had like I had to wear pants underneath it. Or another time I went in sweats and because they so many times I would go and they'd be like, you can't wear that. And it's not even revealing stuff. It's just like if you show certain amount of skin, they won't let you in because they don't want to turn anybody on. But so I went in like gray sweats.
But
And
yet
I'm so
they're
hot.
fucking in there all the
If
time.
you've never watched our YouTube videos, guys, I'm so hot that I have to wear. I'm kidding.
You're attractive for prison.
Fuck yeah. For comedy in prison, I'm a fucking 10. For everything else, I'm a 2. Uh,
Mandatory 10.
I only hang out in places where I feel pretty, which is why I got into comedy.
Oh, same here for sure. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
went
when
in a
I was just
great,
acting, I was like not the lead in acting. Now in comedy, boom, lead.
yeah, 100%. I went one time in gray sweats, kind of like what you have on right now, and they wouldn't let me in with that because that's the workout clothes that they have, and they were afraid that I might, like literally, the guard said to me, We would maybe get you confused with an inmate and think you should be on the yard. And I was like, isn't this just all men in here? Like, can't you tell that the gender is different? Like, I feel like that's a lie.
No, there's some sassy queens in there that you might be able to, you know, blend in with.
Yeah, and you can't like. There's so many things. So the table thing of them sitting across is unrealistic, but there usually is a family room for people who are meeting kids or like certain circumstances depending on what their crime is, where they're
Yeah.
not with the rest of the people visiting. So there is the option of the table cross to cross. She would have been allowed to hug him, but she didn't look like she wanted to.
No.
And it would have only been for so many seconds. She wouldn't be allowed to just leave. You don't get to leave. You don't get to be like, I'm done this conversation.
Yeah.
You can get up and then within so many times, it's kind of like waiting for a bus because they have to like do the whole check again, make sure you didn't like smuggle in a phone or drugs or anything like that. And then it's weird that Dawson just stays.
Yeah. Well, Dawson, not a great communicator, we're finding out, despite all the words he knows in awkward times. Same thing. So they originally they get there and they can't see him that day. So
Because
they and
that's
this
fine.
adds to
She's an
another,
idiot.
yeah, awkward scene between Dawson and Joey. Um, they decide to get a motel and stay in the motel for that night and then go see him the next day. And they again sleep in the bed together, but this is the first time it's not Dawson's bed. And she is pretty much just saying to him right there, like, I want you. I thought you wanted me. What are we like? He could have made any fucking move right there.
You think? I think she was
Yes.
saying. I think she was saying like Dawson. It's the same thing as being in your house. It's actually a bigger bed.
No, but then when they're laying there
Oh yeah.
and she's like, what, just say what you want. And he was like,
Oh
I can't. What, I don't know how.
yeah. a hundred
And you're
percent his
like,
fault.
yeah.
Also, that scene was so short. It wasn't even like a maybe they're gonna make out scene. I just watched it and was like, this is a dumb scene. They could have just
Mm.
gone straight to the prison visit.
For sure. They didn't need to do, I mean, hey, they probably had to fill 44 minutes or whatever. Cause like they didn't have to have them, since nothing happened in the bed that night.
Right. It could have
That
been more on
scene,
Pacey, I feel like, because Pacey has such
yeah.
like two scenes or three scenes in this. It's such a bad because he's the C storyline in this, that it feels like it should have been more Pacey or something. That was a dumb scene, in my opinion.
Um, well, because nothing happened, they didn't need to have that, which means they didn't need to have them getting there, not being able to go in. Like it was all set up to then never be anything. So you could have just cut
Unless
it out.
I will say, unless it's the foreshadow of the ending where Pacey saves the day.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I strongly disagree. I think they just had to fill 44 minutes. I think that is all it was.
Okay, so she's there and she's like, I'm not talking to you. I don't like you. You're not nice to me.
Surprise, Joey is a fucking child about it. The fact that she doesn't get, I don't know. I mean, you can be like, hey, like you fucked up where you thinking selling drugs, but also like in no part of her mind can she wrap her head around about why he might have been doing that, what he was trying to do, the situation he was under. Because it sounds like he was had a wife dying of cancer
And he
and
cheated
needed
on
money.
her. That's where she's
Oh, he did.
pissed.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
If she,
I
if
mean,
like,
if
yeah.
you know they're gonna die, what's the wait
Wait,
for?
just wait, just wait, just wait. It's not that hard. I mean,
So
I was a
just because
dick to
they're
my dad.
suffering, you have to suffer too.
Yeah, that's what marriage is.
I don't know. But anyways, I just mean like I know people whose parents are in prison and stuff, and they don't hold that much anger. They still,
No,
you
the
know,
prison part isn't something you'd be angry about.
yeah,
Uh, the cheating part, I could see. Unless he never wrote her or something. That's also possible. Like if he never reached out to her while he was in prison, I could see that being a thing.
yeah. It sounded like he wanted to though, like he's been trying. Or I don't know if he's been trying, but at least like he wants communication. It's clearly on Joey that does not. But also Joey's sister apparently doesn't give a fucking shit about him either.
No, they're kind of like we got our own shit to deal with right now
Yeah. Um.
financially. But so they're supposed to go on his birthday. They end up going the next day because they can't get in. She's a dick to him, and he's like, Dawson, wait, tell me about my daughter. It's like,
Yeah.
how long has he been in prison for?
Uh, I know because it seems like I feel like
It's
they
got to
have
be like a year
said
or
maybe
two.
at what point, and I think it was like 4 years or something.
So her mom's been dead for 4 years and she's still crying over it?
3 or 4 years, yeah, it's, like, not, super maybe it was in 6th grade, and now they're sophomores.
Ooh, that's a tough year. Okay, I give
Yeah,
6th grade.
and but also you lose both parents at the same time and are, because
Yeah.
the shame of parent going to jail and then the other one dying, and
In a
then
small town where everyone's like, "He cheated on," you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that
yeah,
did make her life miserable. She's the right.
and you're not exactly the most charismatic person ever too, so it's not like you can fucking bounce back from that.
Oh, Joey.
That was actually, the song they played at, Joey's mom's funeral.
Um, okay. What else? Oh, did you catch this? The hotel that they stayed in, that motel hotel, was
Yeah.
called Cafe Loveless Hotel. They do like a
Well,
shot of the title of the hotel and then they pan to the room.
I probably didn't even read it. I noticed it was like that, but oh my god,
It
that
was
is,
called Loveless. I was like, "Oh, they're not fucking in this scene."
yeah, but that is so like, they go on and off with being way over the top about what they're trying to fucking say and, like, adding little things like that into it or, like, double entendres and stuff, and sometimes they don't do it at all in an episode, and then other episodes are fucking so full of it.
Yeah, it feels like they had like 8 writers that each person wrote their own episode and then they all met together.
Possibly. Or, like, no, that's probably more likely it. I was gonna say maybe, like, they went through head writers throughout the 1st season.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
So then it cuts to him having a stroke, right?
yeah, well, you don't see that, but Jen just finds out, Grams comes out and is like, "He's gone."
Or he had a stroke. He's not dead yet because they let him kind of not die for like a few minutes in that.
Oh, right, yeah, she said, yeah, he
He
had
had a stroke.
complications.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, so he has this little stroke. Uh, and then Pacey finds out he's a loser from his brother.
Yeah, no, that happened already. That was way back at the beginning, before they even went to jail.
Oh, okay.
Pacey's brother just rolls up and says, "Hey, by the way, everybody thinks you're a loser still."
And Pacey's like, yeah, but you're gay. It's not
Yeah.
even like a comeback. The things that could not be said in a today's episode of anything.
So no, then, they get back from prison and kind of Dawson walks Joey to the dock because that's where he kind of like explains like, hey, your dad wants to like, he kind of sees his dad's side of it a little bit and like you should try and she wah, wah, down the
They just have
stream.
one parent, yeah.
Yeah, and then you find out Gramps is dead.
Oh, yeah, the dead part. Uh,
Yeah, because it was right before that, before they see him at prison, it finds out he's had a stroke. Then you go to the prison scene, and then turns out he died.
and that death thing would never have happened that way. They would call your house and then she was like, "No, this is her granddaughter." And then they're like, "He's dead." And then she turns to her grandma and is like, "He's dead." That's not They wouldn't tell the granddaughter. They would tell who's ever written on the form, which is the
Yeah,
grandmother. Like that's
maybe it's a grandmother, or maybe they had told Jen because that was the only name he could say with next of kin, Jennifer.
that's the only thing you can say his whole life, and that's why she accepted Jennifer into the house, was
Yeah,
just in hopes that her
despite
husband
the
would
fact that
wake
she
up.
was a whore.
Yeah, what is this coffee thing you got going
Oh
on?
yeah, I got a little, just a little
It's also the
French
angle of
press.
the camera, so it's like
It's
so intense.
very,
Yeah.
yeah, Jordan Pond House in Acadia National Park, Maine. Beautiful place.
Once again, Hampton
Which
loves geography, so if you have anything from another place, send it to him.
they referenced Acadia. Remember the rich girl? They
Mhm.
called her Acadia Jones or something. This is the one they were talking about.
Wow, way to stay on brand. Very cool.
So
Uh,
then the two losers come together,
yeah, Pacey and
Pacey
Joe.
and Joey. And Joey's like, I have it really tough. And Pacey's like, you have no idea what tough is
Yeah,
or
you
what
just have
people think of
sad
you or whatever.
parents, and you're a terrible person, but
Yeah.
like,
But you're going somewhere in life, and I am peaking. I am currently peaking in life, and it's not that great even now.
also you should date me. Like, you can tell he
Yeah.
still likes her.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he
Oh
plays the
yeah. And
character really
it
well.
comes to fruition eventually. Like this, his willingness to date her never goes away, but he lets her go to Dawson.
Mhm.
He's kind of, I bet he's poly now in life. He's like, "Whatever, we all just fuck
Have you
whoever."
ever like liked a girl and she liked somebody else and you were like, "All right, you need to date this person so that you can come to date me," kind of thing? Have you ever had that?
Um, I like a waited out, I don't think so, and if that was the case, then, I thought that maybe for a minute, and then I started dating somebody else too. Yeah, and then I forgot, and then it's like, "Oh, yeah." I'm trying to think. No, I can't think of any. I'm very, not opportunist, but, like, I'm not playing a long game, especially in high school, I wasn't playing I was like, "I wanna date somebody now."
Hmm.
It was never, like, pining for one person and being like, "Someday."
I always secretly dated people. I had a big weird rule. I just remembered this. I had a big weird rule that if I was dating you, you weren't allowed to tell anybody for like 2 months. It
You
was
were
like a
that fucking
weird
girl.
thing
You
that
know
I
how that
did.
makes the other person feel?
I know, but my thought process at the time was I didn't want your friends' opinions of me and I didn't want my friends' opinions of you. I wanted to
Mm.
see if we actually got along before we invited other people. But probably the real answer was I didn't want anyone to know I was with you.
Yeah. I mean,
I could
especially
be really
if you're picking duds out, you're trying to, like, polish up some coal, and, yeah,
life is
that
so
that made that
crazy.
person feel like, "Oh, this, popular girl wants to date me, but I can't tell anybody," like
What a dick. I'm a dick. Uh, whatever. We were prom king and queen at the end, so it worked out for him.
Oh, there you go. And now where's he?
He's married to a lovely woman who I've never met and has a child.
So you don't know. She might be a bitch.
That's true too.
Um,
I know they met on spring break after we broke up.
so then, yeah, you went on spring break? Oh, they
He
met on
did.
spring
And
break.
then he
Yeah,
met her and then was like, there is better women out there. I was like,
yeah.
whatever you need to do, man. If you meet someone on spring break, like,
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm scrolling through the episode to see the timeline.
everybody, Handren said I was right. Let's remember
Yeah,
this moment. Mark the time.
we should make a clip. This will never happen again.
I'm right.
Um,
I don't know what I'm right
they
about.
Gramps has not died yet because
Oh,
she has one final scene with him where he's on the oxygen and she's talking to him. But
oh yeah.
then
That's a weird scene where she's like, tell me, I need you to come back. He used to make everything better. And in my mind, I was like, what? You would tell him how many guys you fucked? And then he'd be like, oh, Jennifer, when I was 14, I was fucking all the ladies. Like, what is
but
she
also
talking
like
about?
yeah, I mean he hasn't been present since she's been living there. So before that she was never living there. It was just seeing her grandparents.
For Christmas, probably, or something like that.
Yeah. And where the fuck are her parents, man?
Right. This
How
is the
like
time you go home to see your dad die.
yeah. What do you mean?
Her
Oh,
parents,
yeah. Why are her
he
parents
had
not at the
another
hospital?
stroke.
Yeah.
He's back in the hospital. Your daughter lives there. You're fucking going to go to make sure. Like, she has
Yeah.
shitty parents. I don't think we ever meet them in the show, though.
I think maybe her dad once. She confronts her dad at one point, maybe later on in the show. I think that's the most we see of him. But yeah, like where's her dad? Where's her mom? Whose
Whose parent is that?
parents are Graham? Like what kind of fucking parent? She was clearly not a good parent if this is the children she raised. They fucked up their daughter. They're not even coming to see their father.
Well, because she doesn't care if you fuck as long as you pray about it.
This is true. Yeah, and they probably like that's what you don't know is Jen's parents are 13 years older than her.
But they're religious and they stayed together.
Hmm. Um, and then Pacey, they
Goes,
decide to go back to prison, and this time,
oh, okay. First of all, $20
well,
would not get you a visit outside with your family member. There's no, it'd be at least 100.
and also just like you can't. There's no place where it's public on one side, prisoner on the other side of a single chain link fence.
Um, okay, so it would have barbed wire at top, and then there would be snipers. But you could. So every time I would go to visit my brother, and there was different prisons. So I'm talking multiple different places.
Yeah,
You could on your walk in. There's a very clear like where visitors go. Like it's a very specific regimen.
yeah,
But then you can see the people in the yard, and a lot of them go to the fence during visiting hours just because they haven't seen, like some of them haven't seen anybody for a year, so they just like to watch.
Yeah.
So there is that, and they do like holler at you, but you can't walk over to the fence. You'll get in
No.
trouble. You have to stay so far away.
And also this, I have it up right now, is at night, just he's out of his
I'll
cell
put
somehow
I'll put that
at
in the
night.
thing.
Just oh yeah, we can. I forgot we can do the clip. I just wanted to show
I
you
know what
right
scene
now
we're
to
talking
prove
about
that I am right this time.
now.
Um,
Never.
but
So
yeah,
yeah,
just
it's just
at
a
night he's out
regular
of his
school.
cell. Yeah,
And okay, let's be realistic. Okay, so if I went to go see my dad in a prison, and someone paid $20 and this guy let it happen, right? If you're the inmate and you're asleep and a guard comes to get you after hours and says, "Come with me," you think you're getting fucking killed, or that
yeah,
or that you're changing prisons. Like there's no world where you're like, this is a good thing.
yeah.
So he should have been like wetting himself. And then the guard would have been standing there in the scene. They wouldn't have let him have their own solo conversation if you did
Hmm.
pay somebody off to like, because there is a lot of shit that you can pay off people to do to get prisons really fucked up. Um, but there would be snipers and he would probably get shot on the way back in or something like weird. Like I was waiting for that in the scene where she's like, I don't forgive you, and then the sniper shoots him and then she's like, I should have loved you. Like that's a better ending. Come on, that should have happened.
Or I think they should follow him and he walks back and then the guard's like, now you owe me. And the
Take
guard
off your
fucks
pants.
him before, yeah. And then he just has to, but he's got a smile on his face because he's like, his daughter finally liked him and you just see him there just getting raped. And he's just like, oh, I got Joey back.
His roommates or whatever also would have beaten the shit out of him because they would have been like, there's no fucking way they just let you see your daughter.
Yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
would have
You
thought that
snitched on
he
somebody, you're helping somebody. Like, yeah,
all of this is a negative for him. Um
very much so. But he's got Joey back. He's got Joey back in his life. And also, I wouldn't buy that a prisoner would be like, hey, as your father, I'm here in prison. This boy likes you, and I want you to go after him.
That scene was insane when
Yeah,
he says for uh she's like, just tell me one thing. Do you love me? Just tell me. And he's like, Joey, of course I love you. And he starts crying. And then he's like, and I'm not the only one. That is
yeah,
not a line you say when someone is asking you if you love them as a child. You don't say, I do, but also so does this homeboy. Like
yeah.
you you just say, of course I do. I'll always be here for you, blank, blank, blank. He was like, but Dawson loves you. And then she like does this weird look. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, is she thinking Pacey's the one who fucking drove over here at night and stole his dad's car? Like Pacey's doing all the work of a boyfriend.
Oh
Dawson
yeah.
does shit.
But I think Pacey also sees himself in prison someday and would want somebody to do this for him.
Maybe
Yeah.
100%. But I always feel like Pacey's really there for her. Like actually there
Oh,
for her.
very much. Yeah. No, Dawson is very self-centric. He rarely goes out of his way to help any of his friends.
Yeah, she should have been like, actually, Dawson isn't the one who brought me here. Pacey did. Like to
Yeah.
her dad. That's the weirdest scene of all
And then
time.
he's like, "Who the fuck's Pacey? I'm a murder Pacey."
Yeah, Pacey's like, actually, yeah, my dad is the guy who put you in there. So we know that if there was a future story between these two, it would be a great thing to be like, my dad's the cop, your dad's the inmate. Let's date.
Oh, that's even better. And they do date, but I don't even know
We
if they
never
like really
talk about
reference.
that because that
Yeah.
is a problem. Like, it is a problem. If
Even
you,
if we found out that Pacey's dad was the one who arrested him, was the one
Mhm.
who pulled him over that day, that would be the best.
Yeah, that's what they should have done. Well,
We'll
let's
never
rewrite
know.
Dawson's Creek. Let's just rewrite it.
Or we get to that part in the series and they do fucking totally talk about it. We just forgot.
And we're like, what? Oh yeah, that'd be great. Um, uh,
Okay, so then it comes, he's like, Dawson wants to fuck you. Next morning, she gets back and she races over. She's like, Dawson loves me, and she races over
and she
to the
sees Jen
house.
rape kissing Dawson.
Jen had come the night before
Gramps died.
because of her gramps, yeah. And she was like, "Can I just be with you?" And they fall asleep
Just
on the
like
bed.
you are with Joey, which
Yeah,
means like non-sexual, but also sexual because I'm Jen and
yeah,
somebody just died. And a lot of times when people die, people want to fuck.
yeah. Especially Jen. And then yeah, she wakes up in the morning. You see this scene play out as Joey is climbing up the ladder to confess her love. Jen is wakes up first and goes to kiss him while he's still asleep, even though he's clearly made it clear the past 3 times he does not wanna kiss you.
She's rape kissing him.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
man's asleep, waking up, and she's rape kissing him. And
F
what? Who wants that in the morning? Your breath, gross.
I'm gonna say feminist icon right there. Women can rape too, and she is, proving how you have to do it. You have to be very sneaky about it. You have to use, emotions
Did you
instead of
know that this week or last week that there was a national in America, like some online thing where it was like try to get everyone to rape somebody that day? I just heard about this while I was out of town. Like,
and that was like a government thing?
no, no, no. It was like some online weird thing where like this dark web was like trying to get everybody to be like, let's make this National Rape Day. And then I was disappointed that nobody even talked to me that day. But so like
Clearly you and I are running on different, websites when we go browsing.
I didn't look it up. Somebody told me about it. These are the
Yeah.
people I'm hanging out with.
You're like, "I'm on 4chan, 8chan, 12chan."
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, she definitely, like, takes the power back for the women, and because that's seen the other way around, problematic.
100%.
Mhm.
That scene could play that way today and be fine.
Probably, yeah, I mean, well, you get, like, some, what are they called? Male right MRAs?
No one
Male
listens to them.
male rights activists?
No one cares about them.
Hey, they are people.
Mhm.
They
Are
are
they?
my people. No. But you'd get a lot of people saying, like, "If that was the other way around, that would be crazy."
Yeah, you
But you know
just
why
said
it's
it.
fine?
You just said that. So yeah, 100% those are your people.
Um, but no, this is why I think it's fine and why I'm on her side. Because as soon as he wakes up, he can just throw her off of him if he wanted to.
Oh, size-wise. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, his dick is probably hard from sleeping.
Yeah. And
'Cause
if he woke up and she was blowing him, he wouldn't even, he'd be like, "Hey, Joey, I'll bear it out."
okay, so Joey sees the rape kiss,
Yeah.
and this show has so many rape kisses. And then um Dawson's like,
She bolts.
"Get off of me. I got to go for Joey." And
Yeah.
he can't chase her. Like he's not fast enough. Joey's a speed demon. What's up with that?
Joey bounds out of there. She
Yeah, I don't think she
fucking
took the ladder.
she did that like Batman slide down either side of it.
Oh, I'd like to think
Like you
that she
put
grew bat wings and just flew off of the thing, and like that's when you find out she is a witch, and she's like,
yeah.
ah. It's like,
Yeah, she hopped on her broom and fucking took off out of there.
mhm.
Uh and then Jen, oh no, Dawson, wait. Dawson does get after her. He pushes Jen off, puts his
Yeah.
shoes on and starts going, but by that time Joey's gone. Jen goes back home and this is when she finds out he's dead. So she's been rejected by Dawson.
Oh yeah, she knew he was dead. She's the one they called. Yes, yes,
No,
yes,
that
yes,
was
yes.
no, I'm looking at it right here. This
No,
is the
when she
scene.
comes into Graham's, oh,
Graham
that's
says
right.
he passed away
Oh,
overnight.
so they told her about the stroke.
Yeah, and then
Damn
she
it, you're
sees
right
goes
this
and sees
time.
him in the hospital.
This whole episode is who's right, and so far you're winning right now. But I have the
2-1.
soundboard. I have the soundboard, and you get no applause for that. That's what you get.
Gramps is dead.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're 100% right. So then
Gramps is dead and Grams is fine with it.
yeah, but I also really like that line that she says in there where she says, Jennifer, you don't have to be in the Lord's house for the Lord to hear you. Or something like that.
Yeah, that
Big Catholic
yeah, because
line.
she was just like pray or something. I don't know. She goes so in and out of being a fucking Christian in this
Well, here she
entire
even said,
series.
"Do you know what I prayed for? I prayed for him to die.
Yeah.
Like, I prayed for the Lord to take him."
Yeah, but that's because she, yeah, and that is actually understandable. Like being, there, especially how many years was it? They said he was in a coma or something.
Was it years?
I thought it was, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was 6 months or
That's
something. But
still,
it was
yeah, it
it
was a
was a
while.
while. It was a while, and it was a while crazy to think you'd be at home on
Changing his
no
diaper, all
machinery,
that stuff. Yeah, she was.
no IVs, no nothing.
He didn't need it. He was just taking a nap.
Ah. She just shoved food down his face or something.
Lots of edibles. Yeah, he was
But
really
yeah,
high.
so she finds out he's dead and she's now having a real tough time with it, and and he
Rightfully so. You can be
yeah,
upset when your husband dies. And
wait
then
a
she's like, "Come
second.
with me to church."
Hang on, hang on.
Hanging? I don't think you can play that while
Damn it.
we're doing this.
You're
What?
right. You're right.
2-2.
No, but you're right about the thing I thought I was right about. Grams doesn't say that. When I don't know what they talked about it on the porch then when he walks in. Maybe just that he took a turn for the worst or something. And then there's a quick scene where that song is playing. She picks up the phone and she turns to him and says he's gone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that's why she runs to Dawson, because he was dead. That's what I thought.
No, that already happened.
Okay, whatever. Watch the episode. I
um yeah, you guys will know what we're talking about if you watch the episode. But okay, so then and meantime, turn that off. Dawson is now all over town looking for Joey.
Mhm. Like, where could she be? There's so many places.
Yeah. And Joey's just wandering around like
She's in her boat. Yeah, she's in her boat.
um and then they finally no, where do they come upon each
Then they
other?
cut to, I think it's either this way or the
Oh,
other way around, Mr.
Shannon goes to church.
That's what I was gonna say. It was either that or the other way. Yeah, Jen
Yeah.
goes to church with her grandma and they kind of pray together. Which,
And
I
I feel
mean, why
like,
is Jen so against it? I'm not that religious, but like if my mom wanted me to go to church because someone passed away, I'd go sit there with her.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
about
totally.
you and your religious thoughts. It's about your loved one and them losing somebody and you just being there for them.
Yeah, helping
You
out
shouldn't
somebody
fight her
like,
on that shit. This chick took you in and you're like, Grams, I'm not religious. This is where I draw the line. Just fucking go and sit down with your grandma who's feeding you, taking you to school, letting you be a hoe. Like, just be nice back. It's not that
and I
hard.
feel like Jen is like afraid of church. Like if I go in and I'll burst into flames or they'll get like, I think she thinks that she'll be tricked by him. She'll be like, I'll start believing if I go
Maybe
in.
she had sex with a priest and that's where her whole thing
So we're going to call that sex. Okay. After all that rape talk,
is.
she fucked a priest. Sure, it was consensual.
Yeah,
Um,
you got brainwashed.
and then, okay, this is where we have fucking,
The best
this
scene of all time.
opens up again, once again, Joey, like the fucking mouse she is, just in the closet, might as well have been nibbling on cheese. And Dawson's been looking. I love that I wish they had shown that scene where he thought she's probably in my closet, where he's like, I've looked everywhere in town. Where I know where Joey hides out.
I wish we saw the scene instead of her montage of her being in one place and then him looking there later. It was she just went downstairs and sat in a tree or like nearby, and then once she saw him leave, she just went back upstairs just to see how long he would look.
Oh yeah, like he thinks she's running to the dock and she just like ran around the other side of the house. But yeah, and now we have the confrontation. What is happening here? What's going on? And bam, finally the kiss.
But the lines
Ah,
before it, are you ready to be honest, Dawson? Do you think we're ready for this honesty? And then he's like, no. And then she's like, I'll go. And then that's
grabs
makes that
her,
face sound.
and it is kind of it's a bit of a good scene of like him realizing like this is where it will be fucked up forever if I don't do something.
Yeah, he learned it. It's a good.
However, I don't think any fucking high school kid would have this much complex emotional problems because they would be so horned up. They would be like, am I gonna touch this person or not?
You just make out with him. You don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. You would have done it on a dare.
Yeah, you do it plenty of times without even thinking about the consequences of who the person is
It's not
in,
sex.
yeah, a relation. Even that. I feel like in high school, if in high school, you can, if a girl was just like somebody you didn't know at all and you found attractive and it's like, let's have sex, you would, no part of you would be like, how do I feel about you?
I'd like to think that that woman has a lot of herpes bumps all over her, and you have to really think.
This was a fictitious person
So is
in
that.
my mind. uh, but I mean, like, how old were you? Did you have sex in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
later, like
The guy who got married
when
to
you were back
at
there
spring
teaching?
break. Yeah, of course, duh. No, it was to that guy who I dated in high school who wasn't allowed to tell anybody about us for a while.
Nice. But yeah, I don't know, just like this whole thing between them, I feel like that is a little overpushed of them being like, "Oh, but we're friends, but we're not." Like, I
I
don't think
mean, we
fucking
definitely did this. Me and the guy that I was dating at the time, we definitely did a should we have sex? No, I don't know. I want to marry the person I have sex. Like we had that whole, but it was a private Catholic school that I was at. So it was the
yeah.
whole religion around it. And all
Yeah.
of our friends were having sex and all this. And we had been dating for like a year or something insane.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. And it was like a big like question. And then I think my favorite story about this is when we did decide to do it. I was com- I he was coming to my house. He was already in my house somehow. I forget. I probably gave him keys. My mom wasn't home, and I came home, and he was like in the television room with a box of condoms on the table, and one was already out. And I just remember being so
Romantic.
naive. I was so naive. I was like, "Why is there a condom out? Like what? I don't understand." And he was like, "Because I wanted to practice to make sure I knew what I was doing," kind of thing before. And then I was like, "Well, how did you do that? Like, get it up, like to practice?" And he was like, "Kim, I'm gonna have sex for the first time." Like it wasn't like my thought process was so dumb. But that guy made me feel so hot. So thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So it was all worth it. It was a real romantic gesture. What if your mom had walked in and he
She
was
was
just
out of
there?
town, like out of town,
Oh,
like
nice.
in another country.
That's hilarious. I mean, that's a bold move on his end to do that in the open space of somebody else's house.
Yeah.
I feel like I would want more control over the environment. Um,
That's my
but
memory.
that's the religion thing too. I remember in our high school, there was kind of this unwritten thing that everybody, like guys and girls, kind of thought was like, if you make it to a year dating somebody, even the most prude people, like they're gonna have sex. And there was a lot of people who like had sex for the first time with somebody like on their year anniversary or after they've been together a
There
year.
was a lot of people who like were like, I'm gonna like I feel like nowadays, like people who are 10 years younger than us, a lot of them just married and then had sex for the first time. I know people who did that.
That
It's terrifying.
no,
Don't do that.
you
That's
know
a night
religious people. That's got
probably
to be religious people.
100%. It's a dumb thing
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, that doesn't happen with regular people.
Regular people.
Sorry, normal. I meant normal people. Um, but I do know a lot of people, not a lot, but I do know a few people that when it comes to losing their virginity, if you don't do it before, during or before college, it becomes so much tougher after that.
Yeah,
It
because no
becomes
one wants to take your virginity.
yeah, and you don't know how to like I know people that are just like once they got to 24, they didn't know how to bridge that gap. They hadn't awkwardly bridged that gap in the time you're supposed to, and then as an adult, you're like, I don't want to now.
I will say I had a roommate later. This was after 24, so definitely like 25 years old ish, and he had never lost his virginity yet, and he was a very tall man, and we always talked about how big his schlong was. All of our friends, and we were just very surprised that he was still a virgin. And then he dated
Mhm.
a Calvin Klein model, and he lost
Nice.
his virginity to her in my bed. And I walked in on not them actually, like I didn't open the door. I heard them from the other room. And all I heard
Mhm.
was like, "Do me harder." And I won't say his name, blank. And then I was just like, "Yeah, do her harder, blank." And that ruined his first love fest. But also he taught people that if you do hold out and you wait, you could have a Calvin Klein model. So it may not be the worst.
Yeah, that's for sure something that holds true for everybody out there. If you just wait, you'll fuck a model. Also, you'd probably definitely gave him some sort of complex now where he needs somebody to yell out from another room in order to climax.
Oh, I love it. I'm in.
I know I had a friend have said, I think it was his first time. He was, I mean, he will know who I'm talking about, but he was on leave from the military and and he had sex with this girl who we knew and we'd all gone to high school and stuff together and ended up in my bed. We were gonna have a party for him that night at our apartment. We were like 19, and he had gone straight to the military. And we went out for to get like beers or something. Me and like two other people, and we left him and that girl there. Come back, they're fucking in my bed. We had a guest room they could have used. We had a third room. They didn't. They chose to go in my room, and he got her pregnant that night too.
I don't know how to respond to that. What a fucking nightmare. I think my story is better than your story.
And then he found out. So then he was on leave before going to Afghanistan, and he found out on Christmas Day. She got pregnant, kept it, and he found out like 6 months later that he was about to be a dad while he was in Afghanistan on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas.
Also, what?
From his first time. From his first time.
He's fertile.
That was he did it, you know, it was a while ago. Kids
Did
out
he get
there
a
now,
job?
but when that kid turns 18, I can't wait to tell him that story.
I'm sure he's heard it. He's got to know. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah,
So we're
that's a rough one.
done the season 1 of Dawson's Creek.
So it ends, they kiss, you get it over with. uh does that set up a whole new set of problems? What do we think going into next season? Where do you think we're going?
Yeah, do you think they're going to keep dating, or do you think this kiss is going to be a retraction right after of like we shouldn't have done that?
um I think they get together, but not really knowing what that's going to mean and how it's going to, like, it'll be bumpy for relationship and friendship, and now where are the boundaries drawn? Because I feel like they'll become less friends as they become more intimate. Does
That
that
is a
make
weird
sense?
thing that people assume once you start like dating somebody. Definitely in high school, it's true. You, if it's your best friend, it's going to change how you tell them stuff because you can't tell them
Yeah,
stuff about them,
yeah,
which is normally what you would share. But I think when you get married, it becomes
that
the
changes.
opposite. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, because then eventually you're like, well, then you have paperwork that says like you can't
Can't
leave me.
leave me.
Or
Never.
at least it's going to be a lot of trouble, and
And
it
I'm
makes
gonna
you
take
feel more
half.
secure.
I'm gonna take half.
um and also I think once you start dating somebody, especially in high school, you don't even want to tell them vulnerable things about yourself because you would think it would make them less interested in you.
Yeah, and you're figuring that out even.
Yeah, where when you're just friends with the person, that's, you know, what you're going to do with your friend is tell them the shit.
Yeah.
So I think that happens. I don't know where the fuck Jen is going. I maybe she gets real religious or something. I don't know. She's in for
It would be fun if she got real religious, but I also would also love if she just fucked a new guy in every episode.
that would be great. It would just had a fucking cameo of every hot 90s actor of the time.
Hmm. That she just screws. And
And
then
then
Casey goes to prison
Pacey,
with Joey
well, no,
Depp.
we know, I know at least, I'm pretty sure it's next season. Pacey's his storyline thickens as we introduce we have coming up in the season who end up being regulars for the rest, almost the rest of the series. Is the brother and sister there.
Right, right, right.
um Jack and I
Not
don't forget
Jill,
the,
but yeah.
yeah, I forget the sister's name. But yeah, they're going to be introduced. Pacey, I know he's going to have a long love affair with her. Um so we have that to look forward to, and that's, you know, we'll talk a bit more about it when they come in, but it's so interesting because you don't usually see that, of characters introduced in that way where already an entire season is established and then they stick around. Like everybody that's been in this for a 2 or 3 arc episode, they're in and they're out, sometimes not even explained.
Yeah, those actors must have been either really good or they were like, you know what? Most sitcoms, TV shows have 6 people. We've only been playing with 4. Let's throw 2 more in. Because that's the
Mm.
math is the 6 character thing. So it's an easy ABC storyline.
And once again, Dawson's parents this episode nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Maybe they replaced the
Multiple
parents
women
with
were
2
sleeping
people.
in his room. Joey was hiding in the closet. Jen slept over. Parents never even saw.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Where the fuck Mitch
Do they
and
ever? And the other thing is,
Gail?
I don't think the show ever jumps. I think it goes from kissing to sex. It's never hand jobs, blow jobs. going
Yeah,
down
no,
on the hiking.
they don't get specific with it. Yeah,
'Cause then
feeling up the
it'd be also
shirt or
really
anything.
good of, like, high school, like, the first hand job and how not great it is. Like, all of
Tell
that.
me about it. Tell me about it.
I mean, yeah, of course. No one's gonna be as good as you. You've done it your whole life to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what I tell my wife these days.
smart.
Um, but yeah, so we have all that to look forward to. I think there's definitely we're gonna have some sex. Well, who got laid this season? Pacey, that was it.
And Jen.
Jen's had sex, but she doesn't have sex within the season.
Didn't she?
No,
Wow.
she kissed Dawson and she kissed the boyfriend, the old boyfriend. She gave him one last kiss, and that was it. Nobody else was fucking. Dawson could have with that college chick that he went to see if he had just shut his fucking mouth. Um,
Yeah, so just
but
Pacey.
yeah, just Pacey was, and Miss Jacobs.
And the parents.
Yeah, and Dawson's parents and Dawson's mom fucked two people at least. We don't know what else she's fucking lying about.
Yeah.
And we know, I don't know if it's season 2, season 3. I know, but we know at some point Mitch is going to meet his end. That might happen next season. You know what's weird about that is so she cheats on Mitch. This is a little spoiler, and we'll end with this preview. She cheats on Mitch this season, right? And then later, sometime in the show, he dies. She never fucks anybody. They never have her fucking anybody after he dies. And it's like, wouldn't that be the fucking first thing she'd be out doing?
Yeah. 100%. That's so dumb.
Yeah, inconsistent. All right.
I don't wanna wait.
And you don't have to anymore because that is wrapped up season 1. Next week we start season 2.
That's right. We're not taking a week off. We're gonna go right into season 2. Thanks for
Mm-hmm.
listening. I'm Kim McVicar.
I'm Handren Seavey.
I don't wanna wait for season 2.